Hello, and thanks for joining us for this video walkthrough of Noteworks, the online cloud-based note portfolio management software solution. In this video, we're just going to briefly walk you through all the features that Noteworks version 2 offers. So let's get started. First off, every time you log in, you will see your own personalized dashboard. This is unique to each user. Noteworks supports multiple user accounts. So for this account that I'm currently logged into, this is my dashboard. On the left-hand side, I have a list of recent loans. These are just files that I've most recently been in. I can click them for convenient access if I want to go right back into them. I can also pin them as favorites to this list if I've got a certain one that I want to float to the top of the list. This middle module here is for tasks. In Workflow, all of your work and your assignments, things you have to do to work out your loans, etc. All that is organized into what we call tasks. These tasks are just assignments that you can give to any user. They come with a description. They're unique to each file, and you can do things like assign due dates, priority levels, and so on and so forth. Here you can see I have a list of my tasks. I can also check for a list of tasks I've assigned to other people. If I have a long list of tasks, I can get a set of filters here to quickly find what I'm looking for. And then finally, on the right-hand side of my dashboard, I have a list of the latest events that have occurred across my entire database of loans. So here you can see a couple changes were made to the loss mitigation statuses of a loan I have. So anytime any kind of loan data changes here, you'll be updated automatically with a brief list of the most recent changes all your users are making to your files. Now, to find a loan, you can click it from any of these links here if it's a loan you've been working on, or you can head to our search tab, which is a very robust search engine that will search across your entire database of loans based on any query you enter here. You can also search by a subset of loans, such as all your non-performers, all your performers, all your loans in Indiana, for example. So we give you a wide variety of search and filter options here to quickly and conveniently find whatever you're looking for. So from here, let's jump into a loan and see what that looks like. So we'll head to the Newberry file I have here, which is a pending modification in Connecticut. So this is just, for demo purposes, this is just a basic layout to give you an idea what a loan would look like. On the left-hand side, you have a static module, meaning this will be here no matter what tab you view in this loan profile. The loan profile contains a bunch of tabs at the top with all your information categorized into tabs. So this left-hand pane will always be here. It just contains some of the most essential information about a file, such as the loan number, who the borrower is, or who the occupant is, address of the property, occupancy status, property type, servicer information, and then information about the loss mitigation statuses, as well as investor information, acquisition date, and other such crucial information that you probably will always need no matter what tab you're on. But this first tab is the default tab every time you go into a loan. This is your tasks tab. It's your hub for organizing the different tasks and assignments you have to complete to work out your loans. You can see here there's a module dedicated to tasks. These are very easy to add. Again, you can assign them to any user you want. You can assign due dates, priority levels, and so on. Above the tasks, you can also implement a workflow, and these are custom for each loss mitigation status and substatus. So, for example, this loan is in the pending modification substatus. So I've got a workflow that's dedicated to all all kinds of pending modifications. I've got a discrete series of steps here that's consistent across my my workouts for pending modifications. First, I like to calculate the mod numbers, run it by the borrower, and then get the docs prepped and signed. So you can customize these any way you want. We offer these for all your loss mitigation statuses and substatuses, and those run the gamut as well. You can see here we give you non-performing as well as performing and REO, and these have their own subclasses or substatuses. Non-performing can be deed in lieu, foreclosure, pending forbearance or modification, and short pay. Performing also has its own set of substatuses such as reperforming, modified, in forbearance, bankruptcy chapter 13, or land contract. Finally, REO can also be a rental, and then of course all these statuses can just be statuses on their own without a further substatus. So those are the loss mitigation statuses we offer you. You have a tracker here as well for how long your file has been in each of these statuses, substatuses, stage of the sales process as well. So that's that section of the loan profile. The next area is the Notes tab. Now the Notes tab is just a chronological log of any kind of notes you may want to manually add about your loan, things you've done, conversations you've had, mail you may have sent, etc. And the Notes section also logs all changes made to important fields in your loan's data. So, for example, you can see here, this note was automatically added by Noteworks to your log. It logged when the substatus changed to pending modification. So important changes like that will get logged in the notes. You can filter the notes to, again, find what you're looking for very quickly by note type, who made the note, and you can just enter search queries as well. Next, let's head to the Financials tab. Now, the Financials tab is just what it sounds like. This is the repository for all your financial data, things like principal balances, payments, interest rates, as well as property valuation numbers, your acquisition and exit values, LTV ratios, and all that kind of information is housed here. We also give you a tax tracker to keep track of your tax due dates, tax collector information, tax sale dates, and so on. You can also load financial data from different points in the past. So these snapshots, so to speak, will be saved automatically every time you change the status or substatus of a loan. So if I wanted to see my financial information for a loan before, for example, before I modified the loan, I can go back and do that for my own reference. So that information is all there. We do offer servicer integration with Noteworks. If your loans are boarded with a servicer who's integrated with our software, then your financial information, financial data for all applicable loans will flood into the Financials tab automatically and will be based off of your servicer's copy of that information. So you won't have to change any of this anytime your borrower makes a payment, anytime your servicer makes a note about their activity, maybe they made a call to the borrower, that information will also get logged in your Notes tab. So that's service integration in Noteworks. The other point on service integration and kind of corollary to the Financials tab is the Payment History tab. Here, if you're integrated with Noteworks, this loan is not because it's a demo, but if you're integrated with Noteworks, you'll get a list of all your borrowers' payment history for for this loan. So if your loan is again boarded with a servicer who's integrated with NoteWorks, you'll get that payment history, if applicable, with all information updated every 24 hours on any changes to principal balances, payments the borrower has made, and so on and so forth. Next is the Expenses tab. Here we just give you a basic table for marking outstanding and paid expenses. Maybe it's things like rehab work you've done on a property, or liens you have to pay off that are outstanding on title for some loan. So that goes here. Next tab is the Property tab. And on the left you have basic property information, the address, parcel number, county information, details about the actual property itself, year it was constructed, bed and bath, square footage, as well as insurance, who has insurance on the property. You can expand these, as well as HOA information for the property. That goes there as well. And then on the right you have a picture gallery. If you upload photographs, pictures, any kind of image files into your Collateral tab, which we'll get to in a second, those can appear here, and you can scroll through them very easily, and it's very convenient for having a visual on the loan you're working on, what exactly the house looks like, for example. So there's a lot of functionality here. Next tab is the Sales tab, and here we give you information about people involved in the sales process, as well as a leads tracker, which you can use to keep notes on leads you've contacted about selling your note or your property. So that's the Sales tab. One other thing worth noting in this tab is that if your file actually does sell, then you'll get a whole slew of other fields here that are relevant to the sale of your note or your property, and the same goes for changing the loss mitigation status with the Financials tab. So you can see before that this loan is a pending modification, so I got fields related to a non-performing loan. Let's say I changed it to foreclosure, for example. I'll get fields related to the foreclosure, such as dates that different notices were filed, such as notice of default, or sheriff sale dates, things like that. So all these fields in NoteWorks, just to repeat, are dynamic based on the status and sale status of your file. So next is the Collateral tab, and here we give you a online file management system for all your files. You can drag and drop files here, and also just simply upload them from your computer, as well as Dropbox if you have a Dropbox account. And you can upload multiple files, and they'll just be stored here, whether they're images, documents, PDFs, what have you. You can store them all here and conveniently access them from within NoteWorks. You have quite a bunch of options here as well for working with your digital files and your collateral. Finally, the last tab in the overall loan profile is the People tab. And the People tab contains a contact manager, which lists all people who are relevant to your loan. So you can add these contacts at will. By default, your borrower is a contact. You can click on any contact to get more information about them. All these contacts in each of your individual loans flood into a database-wide global, so to speak, contact manager in your Settings tab in your Control Panel, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But here's where you would go to add people like different agents or people who are helping you work out the loan. Maybe your servicing agent or co-borrowers, anything like that would go here. So that's a general overview of what a loan profile looks like in NoteWorks version 2. So let's head back to these navigation tabs up here, and now we'll show you how you upload your loans into NoteWorks briefly. So we'll click the new loan tab, and here you can see we give you two options actually for importing your loans into NoteWorks. The first option is just fill out a couple fields here. Just basically add your loans one at a time. This is fine if you got a couple files and you just want to add them in manually, just one at a time here. We also give you a very robust batch upload process or bulk upload process for uploading your loans off of an Excel spreadsheet, and through this method you can upload hundreds of loans at a time. It's very simple to do, very easy, and it only takes really a couple of minutes and you're good to go. So that's how you upload loans into NoteWorks. Again, two options, one at a time or using an Excel spreadsheet. Both very easy to do. The next tab in NoteWorks up at the top is Reports, and these are just some pre-made reporting options for any files you may have sold or pending sales, sales you've made to date, as well as your performing assets, and these will just give you information like the ROI, annualized ROI, overall profit, things like that, basic statistics to help you measure the performance of your loans. Obviously this is a demo, so we don't have any actually sold files here, but that's what we offer you in Reports. So our next tab is the Worksheets tab, and if the New Loan tab helps you import your loans into NoteWorks, the Worksheets tab helps you export data from NoteWorks onto Excel spreadsheets. So this is a very robust system here. You can select any combination of fields from your database and get any data you want onto a spreadsheet. It's a very easy to understand step-by-step process. Once you've selected all the data you want to appear on your spreadsheet and the subset of loans that you want on the spreadsheet, you can then view it online and manipulate it a bit in NoteWorks within your web browser, or you can download it as a spreadsheet and work with it further in Excel. Finally, our last tab here is the Settings tab, and this is your control panel. The first tab that you head into once you're in Settings is your account. You can do your standard account maintenance things here, such as editing your credentials like your username and your password, your contact information. You can set up Dropbox here in the Integration tab. You can change your name, change your email address, time zone, and of course add an avatar, which shows up in different places in NoteWorks, and it's helpful to have for other users to quickly identify you. You have a section for adding users. Users can belong to different user groups, which have different access levels or permission levels, which essentially control what parts of your database they can see and not see. And more on that, we can see if you try editing a user's permissions, then you get a whole bunch of options based on which tabs within the loan profile that user can have access to. They can view and edit certain things, only view certain things, or things could be hidden from them altogether. So those options apply to the loan level tabs, the navigation tabs, which are up at the top, the different tabs in the settings area, and then finally you can control, even at a loan level, which specific loans users are able to see. So by default, these different different permissions are organized into different user groups, sort of like preset sets of permissions. So you have administrators who have full access, users who have a little bit more limited access, and then you can create entirely custom user groups if you want, which again are just custom presets that you can assign users to, and you can customize their permissions later based on that template of access levels that the user groups gives you. Next are smart tasks, and this is a really nice feature. What this does is let you schedule tasks to automatically be created based on different types of triggers. So for example, anytime a status changes for any loan, or a certain date approaches on your calendar, or maybe a date based on a field on your system, like a tax sale date, or anytime your workflow, which we saw before, hits a certain step, you can schedule a task to appear. So there's a lot of very numerous combinations of smart tasks you can create, such as canceling insurance anytime an REO sells, or obtaining a copy of a recorded deed, or canceling utilities. So you can really create a lot of different smart tasks here, and really nail down different assignments and tasks that you would normally do, and take a lot of that rote nature and the manual nature of assigning tasks to people out of that entire process, and just get your workflow basically pinned down with these smart tasks and make it automatic. And more on the workflow tab, here is where you would go to build your own workflow and create all your different steps. You saw before we had a workflow for pending modifications. So here you can assign a workflow for all substatuses within the non-performing, performing, and REO parent statuses. Next are email alerts. And with the email alerts, you can assign an email to be sent to any user you want whenever any field of your choosing in your database, any data changes for that field. So as you can see here, you could, for example, make an email alert where anytime your unpaid principal balance changes for any loan, a user could receive an email alert about that. And again, these alerts can be set to be sent for any field in NoteWorks. So unpaid principal balance is just one of many different fields you can create these email alerts for. Next we have the Investors tab, and this is where you go to create investors, and investors can be basically anything you want, but it's supposed to describe the portfolio or the source of capital for a group of loans. So it can be a fund, it can be a joint venture, it can be a single investor, but in NoteWorks, all loans, all files have to belong to some kind of a fund or investor when you upload them. So you get a list here of the investors, as well as the number of assets that belong to them in NoteWorks, and the date that they were created. Next, you have the contact manager. You saw a loan level contact manager before, and this is the global one, where all contacts from all your files flood into. As before, you can click any contact to learn a little bit more about them, and of course you can add contacts here as well. The second to last tab in the Settings tab is your subscription information. This tells you just when your subscription started, how many days you have left on your trial if you're on one, and then how many loans and users you have left to go before you max out those allotted to you on your subscription tier. Finally, the very last tab here is just a master list of all loans you have in your system, and it's where you would want to go to delete files if you ever want to remove them permanently from your database. So with that, we've covered a general overview of the major features that we offer in NoteWorks version 2. Of course, there are a lot of more nuanced functionalities and features that we didn't get a chance to cover in this video. To learn more about those, or if you have any questions about the information presented in this video, feel free to read our user guide, which details a lot of the features we offer in NoteWorks in more detail. And you can always, of course, write in or call us with any questions you have, and we will be happy to assist you. So thanks again for watching, and we hope you enjoy NoteWorks version 2.